By now you've probably heard of Carmelo Anthony's trade to the Oklahoma City Thunder. But now that their big three is in place, what's next for OKC? In today's video, we'll be talking about the next step that the Thunder need to take in order to compete with the Warriors. If you've been following the NBA this offseason, you probably know that OKC acquired Paul George and Carmelo Anthony in trades. They now have a big three talented enough to compete with the Warriors in my opinion and many others' opinions. However, the problem as of right now is their bench, specifically their post players. OKC's bench is not up to par because of all the players that they've traded this offseason. They lost Domantas Sabonis and Enes Kanter in trades, who were two of their key post players last season and in the past seasons before that. So their projected starting lineup as of right now is point guard Russell Westbrook, shooting guard Paul George, small forward Carmelo Anthony, power forward Patrick Patterson, and center Steven Adams. Now, this seems like a solid starting lineup, and quite frankly it is, because they have three elite scorers, two elite two-way players, and two solid posts. But the problem is their bench, like I said before. They have very few guards off the bench. Their guards are decent, but they have no real playmakers, and post is even worse. So, as a result, I've created a new and improved starting lineup that would add some depth to their bench at the post position, and this new starting lineup is point guard Russell Westbrook, shooting guard Andre Robertson, small forward Paul George, power forward Carmelo Anthony, and center Steven Adams. Now, when you hear Carmelo Anthony at power forward, you might be a bit confused, but Carmelo has experience playing power forward in certain situations, both in Denver and in New York. But this could fit a small ball lineup in my opinion, and it would also push Patrick Patterson to the bench, which would create some solid depth at the post position off the bench and just add strength to the bench in general. Andre Robertson adds great perimeter defense, and even though his offense is below average, he wouldn't need to be a scorer because they already have three elite scorers. Andre Robertson could focus fully on defending the other team's best perimeter player, which would leave Paul George specifically to focus on scoring on the offensive end, and he wouldn't have to focus as much on defense. Patterson would provide a post presence off the bench, and he would also provide scoring, being a stretch big who can score inside and out. They still need more bench players to step up, especially their young players. I think that Terrence Ferguson specifically could be a great player in the future for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and if he steps up this season, I think that they have a legit shot at beating the Warriors if they have a solid post and a solid guard in Terrence Ferguson. They have signed Isaiah Cannon recently, who's a decent backup point guard, I guess, but I still think that they're going to need more production off the bench in order to compete with Golden State. However, I do think that they could push right now, as of right now, I think that they could push a 7-game series to 6, maybe even 7 games, but this remains to be seen. Another issue that many people are bringing up is that they have 3 ball-dominant players in Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony. However, I think that Paul George could play off the ball a little bit more than he has in the past, because in the past he hasn't had any help, so he's had to be ball dominant. I think that Paul George would fit nicely into a role where he doesn't have to have the ball. Russ, even though him and KD's relationship, or not relationship, but dynamics when they played together in OKC weren't the best, it does show that Russ can play with other stars and still be successful. Melo, I also think, surprisingly enough, many people don't think this, but I think that Melo could be a solid player off the ball. I think that he will have the ball in some situations. I think that he will go into ISOs, but I also think that people are underrating the aspect of his game where he plays off the ball, and I think people are thinking that he has to have the ball. In my opinion, this isn't the case. I do think Carmelo Anthony will take a lesser role. In fact, I think it's inevitable that he takes a lesser role on the Oklahoma City Thunder, playing with 2 other All-Stars and a former MVP, last year's MVP. But I do think that he can play off the ball and make an impact that way. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section down below on what OKC should do and whether or not they can compete with the Warriors in the playoffs in the Western Conference Finals. Also predict their record in the comment section, and remember to like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
This is the truth.